Hello, good evening, and welcome to UPfront. Today, we put a spotlight on the Ghana Police Service and crime prevention in Ghana. Our cracks is to review 2017 as a year and also preview 2018 from the perspective of the Ghana Police Service. After this break, I'll let you know who my guest is from the service that has come under massive fire this year. Not directly because of the things it's mostly noted for. You're welcome back. My name is Raymond Akwa. This is UPfront. My guest today is the Director General, Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Ekulu. There's a middle name. Sometimes I forget to add it.
It's Senanu.
Senanu.
Yeah.
Ekulu. Sometimes I forget to add that one because everybody calls it David Ekulu.
Sure, that is a popular one. Yeah.
ACP, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Raymond.
I hope you're doing well.
Great.
This is the year that the service came under massive fire for fight, which many said was inadequate against vigilantism. Others describe it as hooliganism. Right from the takeover in the year 2016, this government had time and energy to complain about that particular phenomenon, but it persisted more than ever under the terrain of Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And in his first year, security, for example, is one of the things that many said he did very little about or could not curb or deal with, mindful of his nature. Today, we are asking the police service what went wrong and what went right. We are reviewing 2017 and asking how 2018 is going to be like. No better person is qualified to have this conversation with me than the man who speaks for the service in the highest level, the Director General in terms of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service. ACP, welcome once again.
Thank you, Raymond.
It's a year that you also were brought into this particular office, fairly new, seemingly unknown office. Innocuous now became very popular and interesting. Yeah. Let me understand how, from where you said, the 2017 year has been like for you.
Thank you very much and giving us this opportunity to have this very important conversation because we need to take stock of our activities and then launch into the new year. 2017 has been an eventful year. I was brought in the middle of the year, and a lot of the reports that we have received, even whilst I was out, was quite a matter of concern to all of us. Some may be because we have not effectively communicated our activities to the public, and also because of the deep-seated mistrust that has. So when some of these issues come, people rake in, they go back to the archives and bring in things that the police had done in the past. But I would say that the year 2017 has been quite successful in terms of policing, in terms of general security of members of the public, for which we are mandated to execute. In terms of engagement with the public was also very encouraging. But as you said, there have been some nagging issues that we have been severely criticized. Well, we take these criticisms in good stride because I think that feedback from the public about our importance is a very important indicator because it's a public service that we perform, and it's the public that should tell us how satisfied they are about policing. Yeah.
Okay, now let's get to appreciate what the statistics look like. How was the crime rate in 2017?
In 2017, the major crimes that we recorded and which have been over the years have been robbery was the number one concern. Robbery was number one concern in 2017.
It didn't look like top of the reporting list for any media house in this republic.
Of course, because the media attention was a little bit swayed towards vigilantism.
Yes.
But robbery was also one of the concerns that the public had. And then issue of landguardism.
Oh, okay.
And its criminal activities.
We highlighted that, I know.
Of course, and then vigilantism was top on
so
the menu of the media reportage.
Robbery, land guards, and also vigilantism.
Yeah, road accidents was also one of the major concerns from the policing perspective in terms of public safety. Okay. And then we also had challenges with communal chieftaincy disputes that we have across
So these were the key issues?
Yeah, these were the key issues for 2017.
Let's deal with robbery. Was it that the figures were way higher than previous years, or it just became a major concern because people were reporting it?
It became a major concern because people were reporting it, And then it was also one of the major news items in terms of content, media content. If you look at it, robbery occupied quite a significant space, both in the print and then in the electronic media. And it was also one of the issues that if one robbery happens, it sends a sense of fear among the community surrounding that area. So it has a ripple effect on the community. So robbery was also one of the major concerns.
Was this across the country?
Well, it was not across the country, but it was concentrated in Accra, parts of Tema, and Ashanti region. Those were the areas. And then
because these are key areas. I mean,
exactly.
Does it reflect the national picture?
It reflects because at the latter part of the year, in October, thereabouts, we also recorded some robberies in the Upper West region. Areas that we know to be regional and normally very calm, but there were cases of highway robberies along that stretch. So those were the cases that we had. But if you compare it to last year, there was a significant reduction. As at the time that we compared it, that's the first quarter of the year. That's up to June. We are still compiling the rest. But if you look at the picture as it is now, there has been a significant reduction in the robbery cases that we recorded in 2016 as against 2017.
It is said that 2016 and virtually all election years see a spike in most crimes, especially robbery and these related matters. Is that to account for the difference? Maybe
yes, to a large extent. But in 2012, when we had the elections, before the 2016 elections, we didn't have a lot of robberies. And the same time as our 2016 elections, a lot of robbery didn't come because maybe the attention was on political activities. They had pockets of robberies, but they were not as serious as we had the previous year, in between the election years. Yeah.
Okay, so let me understand this. What's accounting for the increased numbers from 2016 and the seeming reduction in 2017?
One may be policing strategies. The second one may be, the robberies are...
And you definitely have to pat the police on the back on that.
Exactly, because for now we have a new dimension for policing based on the vision of the Inspector General of Police.
There's a new dimension.
Yes.
And it's very visible on the grounds.
Very visible, and very visible in the minds and hearts of police officers.
I see.
Exactly. So
not
we have
in the hearts and minds of we, the citizens of this republic, who are supposed to be at the receiving end of the service.
If it is in the hearts and minds of the police officer, it must reflect on the hearts and minds of the public. For now, we have had more direct or more community engagements than we had before.
Okay.
Policing is now targeted. We now do crime trend analysis so that we target our resources, even though not to the highest limit. The limited resources that we have are targeted to solve particular crimes that are concerned to the community.
Okay, so with robbery, and of course, I see increases that did not start this yet for me. Since last year, I saw increased your community policing strategies seem to have been made very visible in areas. But it seemed to have been for the well-to-do areas, the high-class residential areas. So, for example, from Siashi to Trasako, you may count 4 different police stops and barriers. This might not be the same for within Malam, for instance. What's accounting for your specific preference for the rich and the affluent in this society?
In crime trend analysis, you look at soft targets and look at areas where, for example, if you look at the high populated areas, in certain areas that are perceived to be robbery prone, they are not. Because the robbers, even though reside in those areas, they go and operate at areas that they consider soft targets.
Oh, okay.
So
the robber might be living in Malam, but operating in East Legon.
Exactly. So that is why you see concentration on these areas based on our crime trend analysis and reports that we have. Yeah.
Okay, I get your point. So it's not because you like the rich people and you think that they have money and ought to be protected?
Not so. Because security or policing is supposed to benefit everybody without discrimination. But we must also prioritize and target to meet the right objective. In terms of, we look at the most vulnerable, the softer targets, and then we direct our resources to them. That is why I'm saying that we have stopped this, let's say, what I would say, multi-directional policing, to policing that is targeted at areas that policing resources or services are needed most. And it is also based on the concerns we receive from the public. So there is that meeting point, the concerns from the public, the resources that we have, then we direct the policing to meet those needs of the community.
All right, so let's talk about land guards. They have always been there. It's a phenomenon that's like the phenomenon of vigilantism. The police is unable to get its hands around that. How dangerous and how persistent and prevalent were the situation of Langards in 2016?
Yes, Langardism have been with us for a long time in terms of areas. But you see, what we need to know, and the public even know, is that Langardism is not widespread. It is concentrated in certain parts of Accra and parts of the central region, which almost has boundaries with Accra.
That's Kaswa specifically.
Kaswa, Domiebra areas there, and then when we talk about Amasama areas, and then when we talk about Mimpiasem areas, and then parts of Ashaman, Kubekrum, Apollonia areas there are well noted for Langard activities. And they have been there all over. But the year 2016, we don't have the analysis, but now we have that trend of analysis. As I said, that we have introduced crime pattern analysis. And this year, there have been public concerns about the activities of Langard. It has been one of the major media concerns as far as the public are concerned. So we have
How did the police fare in dealing with Langards?
I'll say that fairly well, because we changed our mode of operations. We didn't consider it as a normal policing strategy where we wait for the offense to be committed and then the people come to the police station to report. Because it was considered as a normal crime. Because the crime...
What was the preemptive strike in this case?
Yes, because let me just explain this.
No problem.
When we talk about Langardism, there's no offense in our criminal books called Langardism. But it is the activities that they commit. It is the offenses that they commit that leads to public concern. So what we have done is that we have mapped out all these areas, zoned them very well, did an analysis based on the reports that we had from the divisional and district commanders that are in those areas. And then we took it up from the regional level. The regional commander started this in September with support from the national headquarters, and central region also did their bit. So for now, we have arrested over 90 suspects related to Langard activities.
And what are you going to charge them?
Yes, out of these 90, 30 of them are on remand and 69 are on bail.
Charged with what?
Charged with various offenses such as possession of narcotic drugs, unlawful possession of military equipment, causing damage to property, unlawful assembly, and a range of those offenses, assault, causing harm, and a range of others, and even stealing.
I see. There's nothing related directly to Langards on this list.
Like as I indicated, we don't have any offense on the status book saying Langardism, but because it has been overused.
Should there be?
I think there is needed. We need to have a conversation to say that this issue of Langardism should go beyond these people who go to commit someone. And almost of these offenses, if you look at the status books or the criminal code, the Criminal Offences Act, they are misdemeanors. So they are bailable offenses. 69 of them are on bail, and they are on court bail, of course. So you see them back in the community, and people think that, well, the police came to arrest them, and they are back in the community.
So there's a lot of motivation for being a Langard, mindful of the money involved in that, than being otherwise, because if it's a misdemeanor, your highest period you may spend in prison is after 5, 10, 6 years, not necessarily beyond that.
But going to jail, let me tell you, is not a joke.
Yeah, but
and having a criminal record,
criminals. I mean, they don't really care about.
Yes, but having a criminal record is also not a joke, because you come.
To the people we are talking about, it really doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter, but I don't think that that is the way to go, because you cannot sustain it. Because you might come out committing a more serious offense, and the punishment will be more severe.
My question is, how are we sustainably going to deal with Langards?
Dealing with Langards has 3 dimensions, or maybe say 2 dimensions. The law enforcement aspect, which we are doing, but there's a broader dimension in terms of the stakeholders, the landowners, the land administrators, and then the judicial system.
I see.
We need to look at all these areas and see how it can be uprooted. What we are doing now is to suppress it.
So, okay.
Yes, that is a law enforcement aspect. We may not end it completely unless we look at it.
But I've not also heard you say that we are proposing to Parliament to make changes to the current laws bordering these issues. So that's why I said, more punitive, they are less likely to engage in it.
Yes.
There's a reward system that actually goes with this.
Yes. Our lawmakers take their information or through the bill process, through their communities, through their constituents. That's why I'm saying that there's a need for a national conversation on this whole issue of Langard and see how it can be addressed. And I'm glad that government has also taken it up. The Minister of Interior today was at the launch of the Emergency Command Center. He mentioned that government has taken up the issue of land guards. For now, there is robust aspect of law enforcement. Then I hope that the other stakeholders will be brought on board so that we can see how these issues can be addressed.
Okay. Is there a specific strategy for dealing with land guards going into 2018?
We will still continue our robust law enforcement.
What does robust even mean?
Robust means that we are deploying more police officers there. There's more police presence there than just go and come back. The Inspector General of Police has even planned to have containers in this area so that there's 24/7 police presence so we can respond swiftly. Those areas are being marked, zoned now, so that the response strategy can be improved.
The other point related to this is that the claim is that the police take sides with these land guards, depending on whose land is being occupied in this case. Is that the practice on the grounds?
Let me explain. That best practice is that the police do not determine land ownership.
Yeah.
The best we can do is to ensure that the breach of the law is not occasioned on this case. So when we go there, our role is to ensure that people do not breach the law. That is it. So if somebody thinks that the police can say that, well, this land belongs to Raymond, so go and build on it, the person is living in a fool's paradise. Because at the end of the day, even the police say that, yes, this land belongs to you and you must build on it. When the person goes to court and have evidence of people who have gone to court to win their cases and they have gone to court to win judgment that they must reclaim that land, is the police going to say that the court judgment should be overturned? So people who think that they can put their hopes on police to own land are making a big mistake.
But that's happening.
It is happening, but that cannot be sustained.
For example, just last week, the group belonging, in the course of this week, to be fair, the East Dadekotopon Development Trust called on the IGP to rein in police officers who, together with what they consider to be land guards, raided offices on the lands behind the Burma camp and the airport. It's a grouping that are insisting that the police is taking not only sides, but is doing the illegal thing on the grounds.
Yes, we like some of these civil society organizations to come and challenge police officers who are in this area. And the IGP has taken that one seriously. Investigations will be conducted. And if police officers are found, they will be punished accordingly. So please don't let anybody have this notion that once I have the police on my side, I have the law. The police is not the law. We are only enforcing the law. So let us discard this notion that once I have the police on my side, I can go and encroach on people's land, build, and I can live on that land safely. It is a lie.
Okay, I get your point.
Yeah.
Now, the other point which we raised on the armed robbers before we came to this particular issue to do with land guards is, there are many who are saying that it's really fruitless. If all that happens in this country is a known and notorious robber is arrested, we are excited, then the next day he has bail.
The question of bail is a matter of law.
I know.
That we don't have control over.
What does the police prefer?
Society has control over laws that govern all of us.
What does the police prefer?
We would prefer that the best practice should be implemented.
What's
to
the
ensure that best practice is that, yes, if you have sufficient evidence against somebody suspected to be involved in robbery, the trial must be fast-tracked. So that instead of the person getting bail within a week or 2 weeks, I think that we need a specialized court, just like we have specialized court in certain areas for robbery, so that some of these cases can be quickly disposed of, justice dispensed quickly, and people can see that, yes, police action is taken. But the danger is that if some of these people are arrested and they're granted bail and it takes about 2 or 3 weeks, they go back, people don't understand or people don't appreciate the court process. Maybe some understand, but they get frustrated. Because if justice
so how do you expect me to feel if I actually aided the police in arresting somebody? Mindful of the fact that the crime is heinous and we as a society are suffering from it, then the next week he's in the community, threatening my life.
Yes, that is how, unfortunately, that's how the legal processes work. Because they also have rights. They are also entitled to bail as the law. But that's why I'm saying that we need to find a way of speedily trying these cases. Within a week, the cases can be disposed of, provided the police work hard enough, the prosecutors work hard enough, the judiciary have time for some of these issues. That these cases can be disposed of expeditiously. Maximum 3 weeks is disposed of, and you can eliminate these doubts and accusations from police taking money and all that.
From your experience, the review of the law on non-bailable offenses, which rarely made crimes like, or suspected crimes like robbery, I mean, now dependent on the judges who are not precision of the issues, bailable. Is it a good thing?
I think it was well thought out, and it's also good to ensure that people's rights are respected.
I see.
Yes.
No, let me come back to the issue of what they call the vigilantism.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's the area that even government believes you're not doing enough. The executive president of the republic has on several occasions insisted that the police should crack the whip. This whip never seems to be cracked anywhere in this republic. It's become like they are the boldest of the abusers of the law in this country. In fact, they've invaded courts, fought police officers, and to some extent walk free, even though their pictures are in videos and all over the place. Have we given up completely the fight against vigilante groups? And to be clear, hooligans in this case.
Yeah, that's a very interesting observation. And I stated in an interview I granted when I was asked these questions in October that we have not met public expectations as far as dealing with hooliganism or vigilantism or people who claim to be closely associated with political parties, and for that matter, they are taking the law into their hands. We have not been able to meet public expectations. And then I explained that all over the years, police officers have lived under this fear that if I take action against people who are believed or who claim they are aligned to political parties, I might be victimized. That was the point. But what I stated clearly is that for now, we don't have any cause to harbor those voices. I said that some of these fears were self-inflicted because His Excellency the President has clearly stated and shown the path. This was re-emphasized by the Minister of Interior, and then the Inspector General of Police has also shown the path. So police officers, police commanders don't have reason to harbor that fear that you might be victimized.
Is it not obvious to these commanders that there's a real difference between the talk and the walk? And that, mindful of what politicians do, make open and bold comments out there, and yet walk a different path when it comes to implementation?
In my policing experience,
yeah,
I might be wrong, but as far as I know, this is the first time that the president has come out publicly to make commitment and tell people that, look, what is happening is wrong. Police, do your work as mandated.
This first time?
I am, yes,
this is the first time?
as far as I'm concerned.
In December 2016, I heard President John Dramani Mahama make a similar commitment.
Well, that is what I heard. And this is what I heard on more than 4 occasions. Repeatedly, the president has said it.
Even though after all of these repeated assurances, the incidents were happening.
Yes, the incidents were happening. And I have also said that we have looked at this. There was an emergency command conference that was held in October to emphasize this point. And certain issues were outlined in the communique that we issued. Now, this is the first time that we have come out public to indicate actions that the police have taken on issues of hooliganism. This was published in the Daily Dispatch. We did an analysis, and you can find a copy.
Yes, I have seen that particular publication.
Edition. Yes.
Interestingly,
yes.
Let me come to the most important ones.
Yeah.
One, the people that were supposed to have raided the court.
Yeah.
All that you did was to round up people who were not related to the case, shoemakers and others in Asafo Market, and the court had to let them go free. That's obviously not doing your job.
But some were, those who were identified, some were fined and successfully convicted.
No, that was different from, I'm not going to even talk about how whether fine or enough. But I'm saying that I'm talking about people, the 8 who were supposed to have aided the 13 escape.
Yes.
That 8 went and picked the wrong people who were not in any way related to the crime.
Sometimes, as I said, we have a police tradition where when we are unable to clearly identify people when the police are not around. Police strategies are adopted.
There was police around. There were those who are stationed
the police were around, but there were just a handful of police officers who could not have managed the situation.
The police now
the commander
could not even help in identify people. I saw the report from the Attorney General's department.
Yeah.
The police said they couldn't identify people, surprisingly, on the grounds there. And to the extent that, so if the police could not help in identification, how come they were able to pick up the 8? Unrelated to this matter.
That was after investigations were conducted. A number of arrests,
investigations led to
a number of arrests were made identification parade was conducted, and these people were identified.
Are you still investigating the matter?
Yes, the Attorney General has given the police some further instructions on what to look for. So that case is still under investigation. It has not been closed. It's not a closed case.
It's not a closed case?
No, yes, yeah.
So you're still looking for vigilante people, the 8 or more than 8 you are talking about today?
Yes, the case is still under investigations. And there's no time ban for criminal cases, so it's still under investigations.
The interesting part in all of this is that even though you say it's still under investigation, we have not been told a single day where you picked up extra 1 or 2 after this incident.
Policing and investigations are done, and sometimes it can take 6 months. It can take more than that.
But it didn't take you 1 week to be able to pick up the 8.
Yeah, because it was easy for us to identify those people and bring them to court.
You were able to identify people who are not related to the case in any way.
No. What I'm saying is that it was easy for us to identify people we suspected. But at the end of the day, we did not have that full evidence. That's why some of them were released. That is why the Attorney General said, please go further and do A, B, C, D. And this is what we are doing. So
when you say A, B, C, D, specifically what are we talking about?
We are directed, instructed to conduct further investigations to ensure that those that we claim have committed offense, we have evidence to connect to them. That is what we are doing.
Are you looking at the footage that was actually cut from the place?
I'm sure that the investigators are looking at every bit and piece of information that will help in the investigations.
Every bit?
Yes.
And when you say every bit, what are you referring to?
Everything that can help us build a strong case against those that we suspect have done education. It can include the video footage. It can include statements from witnesses. It can include examination of the crime scene and other things. It's a broad range of
you'd agree that
tools that we are using. Yeah.
To many, this is one very big example of how the police deliberately shoots itself in the foot to destroy a politically inclined case. You agree?
You are not being fair to the police, because what is the evidence? And we have
the
also
evidence
published,
in this particular case,
we have also given you...
We went to pick up some people who are not related to the matter. And the police, with all of its might and strength in Kumasi, could not identify one single man who was part of this raid in any way. Even the 13, you couldn't get them to tell you who are the other people who came to help them out in the courts of this republic. That really sent the clear signal to many, especially mindful of what had happened before and what the history of vigilantism is in this country. It is obviously clear that, it is one of those things that you just want to do anything to represent something. If a policeman had died in the process, like you have done in times past, I'm sure we'd have actually secured this.
That things are changing now. We are improving on our investigations. We are improving on our approach. The past system of just going in because we want to show our might is gone. People need to identify that we are moving towards democratic policing, policing that has respect for human rights. What might seem obvious to the public may not stand the test of time when it comes to investigations or prosecutions. So there's a need for us to take our time and support the police in this case. There are instances, if you do a lot of investigations, or maybe from your journalist perspective, about mob actions. A lot of mob actions have not been successfully prosecuted because of the circumstances of the case. But for now, we are moving towards a more digitized system where people can be identified. Today, an emergency command center has been commissioned by the Inspector General of Police and the Minister of Interior. We have these command centers in 3 sectors: Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale. And now we have a system where the control room can see a patrol officer who is moving to intervene in a case. The control room can observe people on the street at major intersections.
You have cameras all over the place?
We have them.
These cameras are working?
Sure.
You're sure they are working?
Sure. You can. I would invite you to put it to the test. I will invite you so that you become one of the what is called it, the proponents, or maybe one of the supporters of the new change that is taking place.
Yeah. I'll be willing to do so, but
that'll be very, very, very fantastic.
But we need to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation on the new emergency center-run police service in the Republic of Ghana. Maybe for 2018, that's the new skill they want to put in place. After this break, we'll interrogate this issue. You're welcome back. This is UPfront. My name is Raymond Akwa. My guest today is the Director General Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service. His designation makes him qualified and competent enough to be our guest on this particular day, because our spotlight is on the Ghana Police Service, what they did in 2017, what they've been doing over the years, and exactly why they are still doing the job they are doing, and what the results we are seeing from those, what they call it, works they've been doing over the period. Now, we left off for this break with one interesting discussion that came up.
Yeah.
An emergency command center.
Yeah.
Is it the first time you set up an emergency command center?
We had an old system that is being phased out with the introduction of this command system.
What does it mean to have an emergency command center?
An emergency command center is that most police actions are generated by the public. And the easiest way, one of the fastest way of reaching the public, especially in emergencies, robberies, fire outbreaks, road accidents, etc., is by phone call. Is by sending SOS messages and phone calls to the police.
Okay.
So we had that command center that we were using, but there is a marked improvement, and that is what I was talking about, that has been commissioned today.
How is the cameras playing a role in all of this?
That is fantastic. And that is the key rule. That's the key difference between the old one and the new system. And if you come to the command center, you see that we now have video cameras. We have cameras that have coverage basically in Accra, Kumasi, and certain parts of the country. It is the expectation that by next year, we should be able to cover the majority of the country.
Sorry, when you say in Accra, Kumasi, where are these cameras?
The cameras are situated at major intersections. Traffic intersections, okay, and major areas and vital installations at our various airports and very vital installations.
You have to consider opinion, these are where the crimes happen most.
These are areas that we consider because based on our crime trend analysis. But would have reached, as I said, we are rolling it out gradually so that it can cover every nook and cranny or important places that we, based on our crime trend analysis, these are places that are likely to record crime. Or
so based on your crime trend analysis,
yes,
what percentage of the most crime-prone areas have been covered by these cameras?
For now, I would say conservatively we are about 40 to 45%. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And well, can I access the cameras?
Can you access? Yeah, if you come to our command center, you can see.
Can I independently control the cameras?
No, that is not possible.
Can I put up the cameras?
You cannot.
I cannot, but if they are on what they call a traffic lights, I can put them off. Or I don't think they can be accessed.
If you try it, you'll be committing offense.
I see.
And the consequences will not be pleasant. So don't
You'll be able to trace me?
Please don't try it. The consequences will not be pleasant.
I just want to be sure how safe these cameras are and whether they actually will work.
Yeah, we have considered all this. There might be some challenges.
Some time ago, the police told us they have introduced cameras to do the traffic fights. They didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know if there's the same reasoning for this that is happening.
These ones have been improved. Because
are they also for traffic management?
Yes, also for
deal
traffic
with crimes on traffic lights.
Traffic, congestion, public order, and all that.
They are related to that?
Yes.
When will they start working?
They are working now.
They're working now?
Yes.
I mean, I've not seen you arrest anybody in connection with this and say that this is where we got the evidence from. But if you say they are working, we want to trust that as the days and months
I don't know
of
any police institution anywhere who will come out to say we got the evidence from A, B, C, D. Except the case is presented.
But your evidence will be thrown out if it's
except the case is presented before court.
I go to court a lot.
If you go to court one of these days, you're going to get it. And I know a lot
Which
of
the courts? Is the court one where all the crime stories go to? Which one?
We have different courts. But if you go to the circuit court B, where robbery cases are tried in Accra, you get some of these cases. And there are a lot of courts. And I know you have a lot of court correspondence, basically for various offenses. So I think that you will get them.
I see. I'll be following up on this and finding out.
That will be very interesting.
But when are you going to roll out 100%?
That is our target and operations for next year.
Okay, so in 2018, you roll out 100%.
We might not be able to reach 100%, but there will be significant improvement over what we have started this year. Okay,
now, I mean, since you're talking about crime, and it's important we put it in proper context, what is the plan to deal with vigilantism, hooliganism in 2018?
The plan is to do robust policing.
Robust just means deploying more people. That's what you said.
Robust policing, swift action, and make sure that any time we take any step in arresting prosecutions, we get feedback to the public. As I said, this is the first time that we have published this. People may not be satisfied, but it's a great step. so that we are committing
Yeah, I
that.
saw the list. I thought it was comparatively, I can draw a longer list of incidents that have happened across the country.
If you have further information that you have that is short of what we have put out, we welcome it and work on it and give feedback to the public.
Interesting. Yeah. Now, I mean, that's what you are going to do when it comes to vigilantism.
Yes, of course.
Okay, in 2016 and the beginning of 2016, Director then of Public Affairs, Sefasata, stated that they have disbanded. This is 2 clear months after the Interior Minister said they had engaged and they had a roadmap for disbanding what they call it, vigilante groups. Later on, was in charge of operations, Dr. Benagojo stated clearly that they had 3 months grace period for these groups to disband and they engaged them to do so. 2 months later, Sefasata said, so far as the police was aware and known, all the vigilante groups have been disbanded. How do we trust that this police guard gave different dates and yet these groups reared its head consistently in 2017 can deal with this problem?
I speak for the Ghana Police Service. I don't speak for individual police
All
service.
of these officials who are speaking for the Ghana Police Service.
Let me land.
None of them said that they were speaking for themselves. They were all speaking for the Ghana Police Service.
Yeah, I understand. What I'm saying is that I speak for the Ghana Police Service. I was brought back to this position in June 2017. These issues, these statements might have made by those officers based on the circumstances, for which, unfortunately, I am not in the position to explain. Yes. But the general principle
Did you have a plan to disband?
But let me explain the general principle.
Yes, because virtually everybody...
We do not have any recognized body on our books called vigilantism. We do not have them anywhere.
So you don't know them?
And if you look at the Constitution...
You don't know them?
Pardon?
You don't know them?
We know some of them. We know their names. And as I indicated in the report that we have, some regional commanders have even called the leaders and spoken to them that, look, we have heard that you are doing A, B, C, D. Please stop it. And some of them have stopped. The rest have even, some of them have even appeared before the regional security committees, and they have been warned and spoken to, and they have stopped it.
Do you know the leadership of the invisible forces?
I don't know. Maybe the commander.
It depends on know the leadership of the.
Where are they located? Where are they located?
You don't know?
I don't know.
In 2014, the invisible forces, just the year before they identified themselves as the official security of the NPP, and then General Secretary admitted so, were very loud in this country as security, and they stated categorically, of the New Patriotic Party. Yeah. So are you saying that a recognized security of the governing party now in opposition then is not known to the police service in this
But I'm saying that they are not known officially. Commanders have responsibility to know various people within their jurisdiction.
Is there a security setup known as invisible forces?
We don't
Private
have it.
Security setup?
We don't have it. I don't have the list. I am not too sure, and I have not seen them on the list. And I'm not sure that, now we have a private security organization set up within the police. This is the first time that it has been done, headed by a Deputy Commissioner of Police. And they are working closely with the Ministry of Interior to regulate activities of private security companies. There might be a name like that, but I haven't seen that name.
I see. Now, I want us to move in this particular direction and perhaps join to a closer conversation on this vigilante thing. And there was call specifically by the Peace Council Chairman, Reverend Asante. He said commanders who were failing in their responsibility to bring to book vigilante groupies, and be it Delta Force, be it Bamba Boys, whichever one, should be sacked. In fact, he even insisted that your boss, the IGP, equally needed to be sacked for the failure of the police to do his job right. Is it part of the things you are considering, sacking commanders who are failing to do their work?
The IGP made it clear during the emergency command conference that commanders who fail to live up to their responsibilities as far as these issues are concerned will be sanctioned.
What does sanction mean?
Sanction has different ways. In the police service, if you breach...
From, let's say, born of a regional commander to the central region, that's like a lofty change.
What I'm saying is that we have different forms of sanctioning police officers.
What's the highest sanction anybody can be given? A sack?
A dismissal. Yes, that's the highest. That's the highest.
Why is that not the first point you look up to when they fail in this major security issue?
For example, you need to do an investigation to look at the factors that led to that. If there is gross negligence, commanders or senior officers who have done that in the past and I know maybe reduce in rank, you may be sent to areas where you might become more useful. Maybe that area might not be operational. You are not operational.
I like your expression, more useful. Interesting, really.
And
you're not saying they'll be sacked.
Pardon me?
You're not saying they'll be sacked.
Dismissal is the last point. But what I'm saying is
you're
that
making it look like having to encourage by merely looking on in dealing with vigilante groups cannot warrant sacking.
What I'm saying is that if you look at the report that we put out for the first time, police commanders have taken certain actions. And even the commanders who are there now were not there when these issues happened. You know, there were a lot of changes after this. What I'm saying is that, yes, commanders have been charged now that if you fail to take action, you'll be sanctioned.
Okay.
And we are following police procedure in sanctioning. We are not following anybody coming to say that people should be dismissed. There are stages, there are procedures you must follow before a police officer is dismissed. So we don't just come and say you'll be dismissed. No, we will be sanctioned. And sanction ranges from a lot of stages. That is sanction. Yeah.
I get your point. Now, I want us to go through a couple of incidents that have happened over the years that many still consider to be unresolved, that needs to be resolved. Now, December 5, 2014, the branch manager of Ecobank Ghana was shot at Abreport in Kumasi. What is the status of that particular case?
December
5, 2014. The branch manager of Ecobank.
2014?
Yes, was shot
2014?
At Yes, 14.
Unfortunately, I don't have an update on that.
How about the November 12, 2015 one? The Vodafone marketing officer who was shot at his house in Sakumono.
In Sakumono, because I have a range of cases here, about 5 cases that happened.
November 12, 2015.
We have one that happened.
The Vodafone marketing officer.
The Vodafone marketing officer. It is very difficult for me to get all these cases straightforward.
How about the November 3, 2015 one? Then Qantas South DC, Peter Kojo Kenyenso.
Yes. I remember that case. And the last time I asked from the CID headquarters, the case was taken over by the CID headquarters. They told me investigations were still ongoing. That was about a month ago. When this
November
came
2015.
Yes.
And so the case is being investigated.
Yes, it's still under investigation.
You've not arrested anybody?
No, I'm not aware that arrests have been made.
A district chief executive who was in charge of the dissect in that particular area was killed.
Yes.
And yet no arrest.
No arrest made.
Wow.
That is a fact. Now, if you have evidence, if you had evidence, by now we would have finished the case, because we are all eager to make sure that we get to the bottom of the case. There are some cold cases that are there that we are all eager to get them off and then get them resolved. But unfortunately, we've not been able to do that. But that doesn't mean that the case is closed.
How about the case of the chief of Achuma Koforidian, another research Japan, in the Ashanti region, who was gunned down by unknown assailants in September 14, 2015?
I don't have that report.
The June 21, 2014, paramount chief of Nanumba traditional area, Nadasana Andani, was killed.
Yes, that case is under investigation.
Still under investigation?
Still under investigation.
Prosecution?
Prosecutions I'm not aware of. But the best thing that we can do to make this conversation very useful is to give me these cases. I'll go back to the trail and because cases are investigated by different investigators.
I get your point.
So it is better we get this one so that I can give you information that is useful to the public, information that is authentic, information that is current, information that is updated.
There's one that's very popular, the death of Fennec Archery.
Fennec Archery?
Yes.
Yeah.
The manager of Hip Life artist called Kese Den, shot dead March 13, 2014.
In Kumasi?
No, in Accra here.
In Accra here?
Yeah.
2014?
Yes.
We're on camera, but I can tell you
that
all these cases.
But it's up to have a brief of...
Yes, I have a brief of cases that happened.
And it excludes the paramount chief of Circus.
Yeah, what I have here, let me just go over them.
Okay.
From Accra.
Because I have a long list, so I wanted to be clear in my mind.
Yeah, it is good that I can have this and give you an update.
I'll be interested in that.
Yeah, yes. I have here, this happened, and 24 prison. The Republic versus Nene Kwautete, chairman of BET, leader Nana Kwame Aka, the Lali Alumato Tilapia, Azik Ajimane, Batman Kwakubotin. The sentence was passed on the 11th of December.
Sorry, does this include a major killing?
Yeah, the Republic versus Kwame Kunadu, Abdullah Rashid, and Imano Dak, in this case, victim of robbery attack in the person of the current director. We have Republic versus Hafiz Ali Yakubu Shiabu Imano Lai, drink distribution at Kwaku Swansea Guinness Depot Mamprobi. We have the Republic versus Stephen Amount Tape
Yeah, I just want to know whether the people were shot and killed. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, in some of these cases, yes. Some were
but I mean,
shot,
I've gone through the popular ones, and
yeah.
none of these even looks popular to anybody.
Yeah,
because
this one was shot
I can't
and
identify
killed.
with these
Yeah,
cases.
Yeah. So what we can
There's
do
a reason
is
why I picked out this one, because these are very notorious cases. Yes.
Okay, so it is good
Which
that I
many
can
expected that there would have been something and updates on these after the incident happened.
Yeah. To be fair to me, just give me the list. I'll go back and get those that are handling these cases.
I get your point. I'll give you this particular list, but let's talk about road accidents.
Yeah.
We kill more people on our roads than malaria kills people in this republic.
Yeah.
And that's a very huge concern that the police should be interested into.
Yeah.
What's being done to make sure we reduce it? Of course, the road safety and other institutions are supposed to be part of this whole exercise. But from the perspective of the police, what's the biggest problem?
Yes. Thank you very much. And I think that this issue will also need equal attention. Because if you look at our robbery records and accidents, the number of people who lost in this type of challenge in terms of road safety, road accident, it's about 10 times more than people that we lost in robbery cases. But unfortunately, we have not, as a nation, given much attention to it.
I see.
Now, what we are doing now, there's a lot of collaboration going on with the police, the DVLA, the National Road Safety, and Guinness Ghana Limited is even supporting in drunk driving.
The alcohol producing company.
Yeah, it's supporting in responsible drinking. And that is very significant because we are concerned about drink driving. The
people who produce the alcohol are helping you cut back on drunkards who are supposed to be on the road.
It is responsible drinking.
What does that mean?
Meaning that if you are driving, don't drink.
The alcohol producers are telling people that.
Of course, yes.
It was written on their drink, and it doesn't prevent people from drinking.
No,
anyway.
even if we watch some of the TV stations, I have even seen some small clips showing that.
I've seen
so it shows the level of commitment, the level of concern.
But the example in the US suggests otherwise. That when people who make these drinks actually do the advertising, they end up delivering more drunkards or people drinking than doing the opposite. Are we not aware of that?
I'm not aware of any study.
Psychological Association
I'm not aware of any study done in Ghana. What have been done elsewhere cannot be brought hook, line, and sinker to Ghana.
I see.
So there's a need for.
Is there any evidence that their inclusion has led to an improvement in the drunkards?
The campaign has just started within this period, and one of the things that I got from the MTTD is that there's going to be an evaluation after the campaign to see how successful we have been, whether we are able to reduce accidents.
How do we determine drunkards in this country on the roads?
We have the machines, alcometers that determine the level of alcohol that's consumed. Pardon me?
How many do we have in the country?
As I speak now, there is a workshop going on here at the police headquarters now for MTTD officers. They have brought new gadgets that they are testing, and officers are being trained on them.
I just want to know the number.
At least for every region, you can count not less than 10.
10?
Yes. We wish we could have more.
Accra has 10?
Yes, in every region. But I'm not too sure about the numbers, but at least we have not less than 10 in every region that they use for their...
You are aware of the population of this republic who are drivers?
Yes.
And the tendency of these being drunkards?
Yes.
And only 10 for the entire greater Accra
So those are some of the limitations we need for our resources. That's why I'm laying bare the fact that sometimes we have limitations in getting some of this equipment. And I'm glad that others are coming in to help us so that we can get more. That is it.
Okay, it's interesting you look at that. At that level of crimes on our streets, which that's what I call it, which one is leading?
In terms of?
Drunk driving.
In terms of road safety?
Accidents, yeah.
No, the leading ones we have are tiredness, overspeeding on certain portions of the road. Because most of the accidents we have noticed happened in the wee hours of the day.
Okay.
When drivers on long distance are tired and they cannot control the vehicle effectively.
Tiredness.
Yes. The next one
how do we keep tiredness?
The next one is overspeeding.
Okay. How do we keep tiredness?
It is the education. So that we recommend is as part of it that those who are applying long distance can have 2 drivers, a spare one and another one that can help. Okay. And then we are also educating the driver that if you feel tired or if you drive beyond a certain hour, you need to take a break, stretch, and refresh, and then continue the journey.
Okay, finally, and I'm told my time is almost running out. I wish we could extend this conversation.
Sure.
Because there are lots of issues that ought to be covered in this particular case.
Yeah.
But there are outstanding issues, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially these cases that you have mentioned. I'll certainly go back and go into the archives and give you the update.
I'll be very interested in an update on this.
Yes,
but first and foremost, I want to know how far you've gone with your plan as an institution to make it. And the IGP said earlier this year that you are putting in plans in place to make sure the police is the best in Africa. Very bold ambition.
Yes.
In a minute, what's been done?
For now, we have a vision to look up to. He has shown us the direction. Unfortunately, it is tied in with the government's strategic directives of improving security in the country. The first step we have done now is to improve the capacity of police officers. Attitudinal change is key in transforming the Ghana Police Service. And that is why we are putting our efforts in that direction. The digitization of our activities, the support of technology in our activities is also one of the key drivers of transforming the Ghana Police Service into a world-class one.
Yet
then also, we are also considering the public as a critical part. We don't always want to come and tell the public crime has reduced. We want the public to come to this studio and tell us that, well, we feel safer than it was before 2016 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Crime has reduced. And then based on that, we can say that, yes, we are getting there.
Right.
So it is a holistic approach. It is an ambitious approach.
How do you juxtapose your quest to be #1 with only 10 alcohol detection machines in the Greater Accra region alone?
Yes, why we are choosing is that we are not pretending that everything is good. Everything is rosy with the Ghana Police Service. We don't have all the equipment. We need more equipment. That's why we are now telling the public that these are our limitations. This is what we can do, and if we get more support, we can do better.
Finally, you never cease to want to leave the first position when it comes to the Afrobarometer's corruption index. In fact, even the NCCE has consistently put you #1 on its ranking when it comes to corruption. When will the police be bold enough to leave this position to others?
Raymond, things are changing. Last week,
it's not reflected.
Last week, Thursday, that was the first time that we sat down eyeball to eyeball with all those who conducted this survey. And we also made our recommendations. And it's going to be included in this is the first time that we have sat down, they have explained their methodology.
You are telling them not to put you #1?
No, not at all. We examined the issue critically with civil society organizations that were there. It was a very interesting discussion. We are waiting for the report, and then we can look at it. So this is the first time that we are confronting the issue. This is the first time that police officers...
You don't deserve to be #1. Is that what you're saying?
It is a perception. It is a fact, but we can do something about it.
What are you going to do about it?
For example, during the Anti-Corruption Week, police officers held placards across the length and breadth of this country saying that don't bribe the police. Stop bribing the police.
That's all.
No. These are public expressions of the fact that we are not happy about this condition and we are determined to work. The public, you see, anytime you find a corrupt police officer, you can find 10 corrupt members of the public. You can find a public that is not willing.
Would you want to abandon that position as the most corrupt institution?
That is what we are working at. And I'm very certain that the next time there will be a remarkable improvement because they have given us areas where the corruption, because the areas that have the highest contact with the public, the MTTD, the CID, have been identified as areas where corruption is rife. So now they have told us where we need to focus our activities on, and this is where we are working on.
Thank you so much, ACP. We hope to have this conversation some other time, and maybe when you've improved on the rating, not before they put out the next statistic. But folks, that's where we tie the nice ribbons on today's edition of UPfront. My guest is the man in charge of public affairs, Director General of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Senanu Ekulu. Thanks for watching us today. And ACP, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.